Okay, so we are on handout 34. This is going to be the last method we're going to learn today. This is the algebra method. This is the method that I was taught. This is the only method I was taught, and it is actually my least favorite, but I will go through the steps with you. So we know we have our basic percent sentence. Blank is blank percent of blank. So what we're going to do here is we're going to translate this into an equation. So first we have our is. It is going to become our equal sign. Then we have our percent. Now when we were converting percents before, we had to replace a percent with something. So we're going to replace the percent with 1 over 100. And then finally, of, we're going to replace that with a multiply. All right, so kind of ignore this stuff right here. We're going to take this number 1 and we're going to change it into an equation. So I have 40 is, so as soon as I see the is, that's going to be an equal. So 40 equals. Then I have 25%. Remember, I'm going to replace the percent with 1 over 100. So that'll be 25 times 1 over 100. And then the of becomes a multiply. Right, so there's your multiply, and wherever your blank is, that's your x. So if I just kind of go back through, your of became this multiplication symbol right here. I'm working backwards. Your percent became 1 over 100, and your is became your equal. All right, so if I go ahead and solve this, this becomes 25 over 100 times x, which reduces to 1 over 4 times x. So taking you back to your algebra days, to get x by itself, I would multiply both sides by 4. And I would get x equals 160. All right, so that would be my answer for number 1. All right, so let's try the same thing for number 2. We have 46 is, so 46 equals, so once again your is becomes your equal. I have a blank there, so I'm going to put an x. Now the percent is going to become 1 over 100, so I'm going to put that right there. All right, and then finally, I'm trying to keep my colors consistent here. Your of is going to become your multiply, and it's going to go right here. So times 23. All right, so if I clean this up, I'm going to use my associative property to put these together. So I'm going to kind of leave the x out, and that's going to become 23 over 100. Now I want to try to get x by itself. If you remember back from your algebra days, you can multiply by the reciprocal, which is 100 over 23. Now the 100s and the 23s cancel, and you're just left with x. But let's look at this other side. This is 100 over 23 times, think of 46 as 46 over 1. So is there anything I can reduce before I multiply? Turns out 23 goes into 46 exactly 2 times. So I end up with 200 equals x. Now my answer is the percent. It's already in percent form because I took care of the conversion right here. So my answer is 200%. That makes sense. That would be a double. So if I double 23, that would be 46. All right, so let's look at number 3. I have blank is, so x is or equals 120. In place of the percent, I put 1 over 100. Of becomes a times, and then I put my 90. So I'm going to go through that one more time. The of becomes your multiply. The percent becomes your 1 over 100. And your is becomes your equal. All right, so here I have a decision which whole number I want to put with the fraction. So let's just say I do this as 120 over 100 times, I'm going to do this as 90 over 1. All right, so I've got to decide where I want to reduce. I could do this. That would become 12 over 10, which would become 6 over 5. And then I could go 5 into 90. That would go 18 times. So now I'm left with 6 times 18, which becomes 108. All right. So this method will get you the answer, but you're not really thinking about percentages or out of 100, right? You're just making replacements and solving. So not my favorite method, but it does work. All right, let's look at the last one. 15 equals 30% becomes 30 times 1 over 100. Of becomes multiply, and then I put an X where I have the blank. All right, so this becomes 15 equals 30 over 100 times X. I can reduce 30 over 100 to 3 over 10. Now I want to get X by itself. I can multiply by the reciprocal, which is 10 over 3. If I do that, I want to think of 15 as 15 over 1. All right, so let me do a quick rewrite on that so it's not messy. I have 10 over 3 times 15 over 1. And over here, your 3's and 10's cancel, so you're left with X. 3 goes into 15 5 times, and I'm left with 10 times 5, which is 50. All right, so like I said, my least favorite method, but still a valid method for solving